fifth tutorial of the project one. So let's run the previous project up to which we have completed in the last tutorial. So let me run in the simulator. So in the last tutorial we learned how to move the variables values from one activity to another activity. So in this tutorial I will be adding the tab bar view controller. So this is the new stuff we are going to add in this our application. So for that let me rename the view stuffs. So for this is the view controller, that is the home BC. So let me rename it to login BC. So I'm renaming it login BC. Let me search, is there any remaining part? So login BC, rename it to login BC, and also in the comment section. Okay, so seems pretty much fine. So I'm going to be a bit lazy, so I want to avoid to give the username and password every time. So let me write self.txt username dot text Chandra and self.txt password.text equal to again Chandra. So now I need not to type manually, so I can go inside. Now the thing is, if I open the storyboard, uh, you will see we have the login BC, my info BC, and when we tap on the login button we are moving in the my info BC. So these are the we have already covered. Now the new thing I'm going to introducing. So after logging BC I want to move on the tab bar BC. So let me put it in the down and UI tab bar view controller. So this one, no, this is not, sorry, UI tab bar controller, I think this one. Yeah. So we have the one tab bar controller, and if you see the parent class of this controller is UITabBarController. So let me make one Swift file which will map here. So I'm going to create one new file, coquatus class UITabBarController parent class, and let me name it TabBarController. Okay. Okay. So this is our tab bar controller, and I want to map this tab bar controller with that Swift file. Then I can do like this, and storyboard ID this one. Let's put the restoration ID also same. So now my plan is when I tap on the login button I want to move on this tab bar controller. So let's move that way and I will explain side by side. So let's move on the login VC first. Okay, so I have added the one tab bar controller, then I need to put that here also. This one is the another VC, and if you check carefully the tab bar controller, its parent class is UI tab bar controller, and if you go inside, jump on the definition of UI tab bar controller, you will see tab bar controller is also extending the UI view controller. So I will explain later why I have shown you here this stuff. So the thing is, tab bar controller's base class is also UI view controller, and login VC base class is also UI view controller. So this is the thing. Now let me check here. So now the thing is, I want to move on the tab bar controller when there is valid user. Till now we are moving on the uh, my info bc if the username and password is valid. Now let's remove this one, and I'm going to write another code here. So the next code will be I should able to move on the tab bar controller. So as we have set up the convention, those methods we used to write in the base bc. So I'm going to write here func move to tab bar controller, and I'm not taking any parameter for now, and let tab bar controller. Now let me instantiate the tab bar controller from storyboard. So let me instantiate first storyboard. I'm not going to use this method because this method is developed for view controller. Maybe we can try same stuff, but the thing is it is returning us the UI view controller, but the our tab bar controller is the different class, have the different class. So let me write let storyboard UI storyboard name is the storyboard names dot main dot raw value, and bundle let's put it nil. Now we have the storyboard. Let tab bar controller and storyboard instantiate with view controller with identifier bc names dot tab bar controller dot raw value. Okay, okay, now this will give us a this is supposed to give us the tab bar controller. So I'm casting typecasting class as tab bar controller. Now next thing is I need to push in the navigation controller self dot navigation controller dot push view controller tab bar controller animation, let's put it false. Now I'm going to call this method move to tab bar controller from login bc. So if user is valid self dot move to tab bar controller. Now let's see how it works. Okay, so when I press here, I'm going inside. This is the tab bar controller. Actually we have the two view controller inside the tab bar, and now the new thing is I have no way to log out from this tab bar controller. So let's work on that part. So again let's move on the storyboard. So I will explain how to do that one. So see, inside the storyboard tab bar controller has the two item 1, and if you check its class is the UI view controller, and similarly item 2, and if you check the class of this is also UI view controller. So we can map by creating our own view controller with item 1 and similarly for the item 2. Let me put some meaningful view controller for this one. So I'm going to create the one home VC here. Let me create here new file cocoa touch class, and parent class should be UI view controller, and let me put it home VC. Okay, I've created one. So home BC, and another, let's create a profile BC. New file, co-quarters class, profile BC, parent class is the UI view controller. Okay. Okay, we have created the two view controller here, home BC. So as per our coding convention, parent class should be base BC. Similarly, parent class should be base BC for profile BC also. Let me erase unwanted lines of code. Let me erase it. Okay. So now I need to put the view controller details inside the constants also. So we have the one more view controller, home BC, and another one is the profile BC. Okay, we have added two. Okay, it's fine. Now let's move on the main BC also. Now I'm going to map this item with the home BC, and let's put the storyboard ID same as the name of the class, and its parent class is, let's put profile BC. Okay. Okay, so now these two view controller is mapped with home BC and profile BC. Now the thing is, when we log in here, we don't have the any kind of the button so that I can go back to the login screen. So let's work on that part. So for that I'm going to add, let's work, put in the home BC first. Okay, let me put one header view, UI view inside here. Make sure this view comes under the main view. Let me rename it view header. Actually it is not required, but it makes you clear uh, why we are using this view. So let me add the constants, top 0, left 0, right 0, and height, let me put it 44. I think this would be sufficient constraint. So now this is here, and let me change color to light gray. So now it looks nicer. Okay, now inside the view header I'm going to put one button. So UI button, let me put a UI button here. Make sure the button should be inside the view header, and now let me change it to custom. Then let me erase it. Let me put the icon for this sign out icon, log out, this one. Okay, now let me add the constraints for this one also. Right side 17, and width and height I'm going to put 30 and 30. So three constants from the right trailing space 17 and the width and height. Now I'm adding one more constraint. It should be aligned vertically in the container, this one. Now these four constraints will be sufficient. Let me name it btn sign out. Okay, now I'm going to copy this view header and going to put the same stuff inside the another view controller, that is the profile BC. So inside it, make sure your view header comes inside the view. Now I'm going to remove the previous constraints, clear constraints, and now I'm adding the new constraints. Again, 0, left would be 0, right would be 0, and height would be 44. Now it goes there. Now that we need to add the constraint for this button also. So again, let me erase the existing constraints for this button if there is, and then add me again. So the right is trailing constraint is 17, width and height is 30, and vertically in the container. Okay, so till now what we did is we have added the one header view inside the home BC and the same header view inside the profile BC. Now let's add the logical part. So let me move on this one. This one is for home BC. So let me split a screen. So let me open here home BC, and similarly item 1 or item 2, I forget. Okay, item 1 is the home BC. Okay, home BC. So from home BC we have this button. So let me add the touch up inside action from this button in the home BC. btn sign out action. Okay, now let's write for now self dot navigation controller dot pop view controller animated false. Okay, so I have added action for the sign out button inside the home BC. So nothing new here. Let me check whether it works or not. So let me log in. I think this one is home BC. Yeah, it is working. Same thing we'll do for uh, my profile BC. So let me open here a profile BC, and let me move on here also profile BC. Okay, so this button. So let me make a IV outlet action btn, sorry, oh, let me remove it and let me do it again. btn sign out action. Okay, now self dot navigation controller dot pop view controller animated false. Okay, so now we have added the IV action method for the both buttons inside the home BC and profile BC. So from the home BC we can do, and from the profile BC also we can log out. Now let's do some design related stuff. So I want to rename it. So this one is for home BC. So I want to change the name of this one item. So you can tap here, simply tap here, and you will see the tab bar item, and you can change the title here. So I'm going to make it home, and I'm going to display the some relevant image which is already inside our Xcode. So let's search home. I think this should be sufficient. Okay, and this one is profile. Yeah, I think so, profile, yes. So profile and profile, let me put it this one. Okay, so now the thing is, as you have remembered, we have deassociated the connection with the my info BC, because when we tap on the login button we are moving on the we are going to load the tab bar view controller, and which has already two tab bar view controllers, view controllers, that is the home BC and profile BC. Now the thing is, we may want to add one more view controller here. How we can do that? So let's move on that part. Before that, let's run and let's see the whether these icons and text is showing in simulator or not. Okay. Okay, this is home, this is profile. You may change, you can add the title here. So if I think this is home, then you can add one title here. Let me add one. So let me put a constraint for this. Width I'm going to put it 80, and height I'm going to put 44, exactly same as the header of this view. And top I'm going to put 0. Bottom I'm going to bottom, actually we don't need. uh, I think this much will be sufficient, and we need to put it in the center horizontally. Okay, so let me change the width a bit more. Width, let me put it 150. Okay, now let me put it the text in the center and home. Okay, now I'm going to do same for the profile also. Let me copy that one. Make sure this label should be inside the header view. So it is inside the header view. Let me clear the constraints, existing constraints, and add again. So width, top, bottom, and horizontally in container. Okay, so let me change this profile to text profile. Okay. Okay, let me run it again. Okay, so we have the two view controller inside the tab bar view controller. That is the one, first one is the home BC and another is the profile BC, and we can log out from the both view controllers. This is working. Now the next question is if I want to add more view controller inside the UI tab bar view controller, then how I can do? So for that, we already have my info BC, and I want to add that inside this tab bar controller. So how I can do? So for that, let's see. You need to select the tab bar controller, select like this, and go here and see this tab bar controller is associated with profile view controller and home view controller. If you want to add one more, then press Ctrl, tap on the plus icon, and move to the view controller which you want to integrate, and leave. Now see, it is added, and if you see here, we have the third item here. So this is mapping with this view controller, so maybe we need to change this item text also. So this class is, this view controller name is my info BC. Okay, let me rename it info. Okay, so info, and let's search, is there some kind of relevant icon or not? Okay, this one will be specific. Okay, so now we have added the one more view controller inside the tab bar controller. So now we have the home view controller, profile view controller, and info view controller. So you can design the info view controller like we did for the profile and home BC. So you can try yourself how. So now the thing is, now we need to do some code cleanup. So till now we learn how to integrate the tab bar controller and how to add the more view controller inside the tab bar view. And now let me go in the home BC here. Okay, see, when we sign out, technically what we are doing, when we sign out, technically we are just popping one view controller from the navigation stack. So in this scenario, uh, on the top of the stack, we have the home BC or the profile BC. Any one of these will be there. And when we pop, then the home, login view controller will come. But this scenario may not happen every time. Maybe on the stack, login BC will not be on just below the current view controller. So the in that scenario, pop view controller will not work. So the best approach is we need to traverse uh, the stack, view controller stack inside the navigation controller, and if we found the login view controller inside the stack, then we need to pop up to that view controller. Otherwise we need to push the login view controller. So seems quite complicated, but for that let me write the code and it will explain you. So first thing first, we need to move, let's move these lines of code in the base view controller as we have set up our convention. So let me move on the base view controller and I'm going to write, let me copy it, it will be faster. So move to login BC, login BC. Okay, I don't need to pass this information. Now login VC and login VC, it is not required. Okay, move to login VC. So this is not a correct code here. I will improve this one, but for now let's call this one. So self dot navigation controller dot move to self dot move to login BC. Okay, it will move us in the login view controller, and same thing we need to do from the profile BC also. See, so actually what we are doing here is we are rather than popping the current view controller, we are pushing the another view controller login BC. So the in our stack, navigation controller stack, we are going to add one more view controller. But if I run here, see, first time in the navigation controller stack we have the login view controller. Then if I press on the login view controller, then uh, after the login view controller, it is adding another view controller, that is the tab bar view controller in the navigation stack. Now if I press here, then it is wiseful to pop the existing view controller, then automatically it will comes to the login view controller. But what we are doing is we are adding again another login view controller. Oh, it is creating a crash. So login BC, let me put the identifier inside the main view storyboard. I think we missed their identifier. Okay, now it will work. Okay, let me run it again. Okay, so again we are pushing the login view controller. Now again we are pushing the another tab bar view controller, and again we are pushing the login view controller. So the technically technically we are adding the more view controller inside the navigation controller. So this is not a proper way. So when I call the login move to login BC, then I need to check whether this view controller is already inside the navigation stack or not. If yes, then I need to pop view controller to that view controller, current view controller, navigation controller to that view controller. Otherwise, I need to push view controller. So first of all, I need to traverse whether the login view controller is already inside the stack or not. Let's do that. So let view controllers self dot navigation controller view controllers. I got the all the view controllers inside the navigation controller. Now if let view controller equal to view controller to make sure it is not nil. Now for a view controller in, let me put it controllers, this is the correct word. Okay, let me traverse the all the view controllers which is inside the navigation controller. Now I will check whether the particular view controller is the instance of login VC or not. So if a VC is login VC, then what should I do? I need to pop self dot navigation controller dot pop to particular view controller. No, so this one I need to select pop to view controller VC and animated. Let me make it false. So return. So the thing is, first of all, I checked whether we already have the login VC instance of login VC inside the navigation controller stack or not. If yes, then I popped to that view controller. If not, then only I will move to push. So now let's see how it works. So I'm login. We have the view controller inside the stack. Now if I press it, this code will check whether the login VC instance of login VC is already inside the stack or not. In our case, yes. Then this line of code will be execute. See, pop will execute. Let me put here the log message, then you will understand. So print pop to login BC, and in this case push to login BC. Let's check. So pop to login BC again. Let's try from here. Pop to login BC again. Let's try from here. It is okay. We need to improve that code also. Inside the my info VC, let me call it self dot move to login VC. Okay. So now the programmatically and the efficiency wise code is better now. So now from here also pop to login VC. Okay. So now I'm extending this concept for the all the view controllers. Let me erase these things because you have already know the concept behind it. So move to login VC. Same thing we can do for the another view controller also. Move to my info screen VC. So is instance of my info VC. Then I need to pop. Otherwise I need to push. And let's leave it for the tab bar view controller. Okay. So in this session, we learned how to integrate the tab bar view controller and the concept of push and pop when we need to use the push view controller when it is desirable to use the pop view controller and all this is stops. So for for today, let's stop up to this, and in the next tutorial I will be adding the more logics here. So if you are getting some fruitful information from this video, then please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.